Good morning. Hello.
Hey, how
Hi,
are you?
how are you?
Good.
Good. Oh, we're so excited for today. It's so timely, Kimberly, and it's awesome because it came up in a few conversations this week, like literally just what you're going to cover today. I think it's so many people are asking these questions. So it was just awesome, like you saw in school, that is just perfect session to run for so many people. Pretty ceiling there, Diane.
Well, hopefully I can answer some questions that everybody has, or I'm touching on some things that everybody wants to know.
Yeah, I bet we will. Just so you know, Kimberly, I think you've seen a few sessions, but just so everybody knows for housekeeping, we can kick things off right away. I kind of let you introduce yourself because I love hearing it from your own mouth. What you do, who you are, and dive into the session. If you've got to share screen or do it, just go for it. If people want to drop questions in the chat, or if you want to ask a question to Kimberly live, put your hand up. If you're happy to answer questions, Kimberly, as you go, or at the end, like there'll be plenty of time for people to chime in, and a little bit of time at the end for Q&A. That sort of seems to be a nice format for most people. Otherwise, I'll just say welcome, everybody. I've taken the meeting room, waiting room off so everyone can just come straight in. It's a real pleasure to have Kimberly Offord here today for all of you. I think many of you know her already, but she's like an incredible AI creative, and we're so pleased, honored to be collaborating with Kimberly and her brand and Playground Pastime and supporting all her work. And she's just fabulous. And so we're so excited to hear what she has to share with us today. Yeah, so any questions or thoughts, keep it in the chat, keep it alive, and we'll help facilitate that. And when you're ready, Kimberly, just like we may as well kick it off when you're ready and dive
Okay,
in.
I'm I'm
Yeah.
just gonna go ahead and get my screen going here. And good evening to everybody. Thank you for joining. Hello from Chicago. Hello from Switzerland. Hello from wherever you are. Thank you for joining. So I'm going to go ahead and share very quickly here so that we can get started. And I'll be introducing myself in the presentation. All right. Okay. All right. Now, of course, I'm hoping, wait, let me do one thing over here real quick because I have two screens going, everybody. So give me 1 second here. All right. Okay. I kind of like to see the chat while I'm presenting. Um, all right, cool. We're ready. Okay. So everybody, can you see my screen? I want to make sure everybody can see my screen. All right, we're ready.
Fabulous.
Okay. So thank you for having me once again. And tonight, as much as I can get in there, we're going to talk about creating and monetizing photorealistic images. Now, it's just an hour. And so what I'm going to be doing is an overview of a lot of different things. And I'm going to try to get to everything because when I was putting the workshop together, I was thinking about what I wanted to say and how I could say it very quickly, but still give you a good idea of what it is that I do and how it can help you out in a little bit. So I'm just going to jump right in. Let me see here. Okay, there we go. So I always start off all of my workshops. Any of you that have been in my workshops, in my webinars, you know I always start off with a quote, and usually it's my own personal quote that I have. I've been saying this for years now, and I think it was probably on one of those days where I had some kind of wild, crazy idea and I needed to justify it. And so, infinite thoughts create endless possibilities, you all. And so, that's what I want you to keep in mind as we go through this workshop. Now, I get people all the time that say, hey, show me how to create images like you do. And the thing is that we all know that with AI, I can show you how to prompt all day, but you probably won't get images that look exactly like mine because we know that AI is so versatile and is so infinite in any response that it'll give you with a prompt. But the other part of it is this, is that I can't teach you what's in my brain. right? It's that stuff that's up there, and it's like, I don't know if I want to tell anybody about that right there. And what do you know? It comes out and it's this ball of creativity. And then you have some people who say, well, I'm not creative. Well, do you imagine? Do you dream at night? You absolutely do have some type of creativity inside of you. And so what I can do is show you how to bring that out and how to create on your own and create your own images and your own vision and your own possibilities with AI, because AI has opened up some doors for everybody in terms of creativity and just leveling the playing field. So I'm going to start off by showing you guys a video, very short video. And I'm hoping that you can hear it. So I'm going to go ahead and start it, and then let me know if you can hear the volume. I think I set all my settings correctly. Okay, let's see. And it may stall as well, but who knows? If you can see it, we'll watch it. If not, it's okay. Let's see. Yeah, it's stalling. Okay, no worries. We're gonna keep it moving. I'll see if I can get you show that video when we get to the end. I wanted to just show you guys some creativity and where AI has gone since I first started working in AI. I look at some of the videos that I've done a year and a half ago, and I look at what we are doing right now, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. I look at some of the videos that I did in October of last year and look at some of the ones that I've done now, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So I wanted to kind of show this video, but that's okay. Won't cooperate, it's all right. So this is me. This is a little bit about me. My name is Kimberly Offord. You can call me Kim, though. And I am what I would call an AI entrepreneur. I am a real estate agent by trade. As a matter of fact, a managing broker. I do not manage agents anymore. But I have gone towards the education side of real estate and educating realtors on AI, et cetera. That's how it all started. And this is where we are now. So now I am more so in the image and video portion of this. I still do teach AI when it comes to real estate sales, entrepreneurship. I have 3 workbooks that are carried by the National Association of Realtors, one of which concentrates on branding and AI. I have been a creative all my life and a storyteller all of my life. And I am, through AI, committed to diversity and showing, being more inclusive in the images that we see out there. By trade, I am a marketer. I got my bachelor's and my master's degree in marketing and my master's from Northwestern Medill School of Journalism. So I am also the creator of the Tunnels video by Lalah Hathaway, Grammy Award artist Lalah Hathaway, and that is the official video. And I did that video back in October, and I look at what I did then and what I can do now, and I want to call and be like, can I do the video one more time? Because this is a lot of new stuff going on out here. So it is what it is. But that is me. That's a little bit about me. All right, so let's jump in. Oh, first, I have to do a shameless plug. If those of you have heard about the Playground Pastime AI Film Contest, which She Is AI Magazine is the media sponsor for that contest. That is my contest. That is the contest that I started and didn't realize I'd be here in this, in this space. So I want you to save the date. The contest is ended, but I want you, and we have not announced any winners. We will announce the winners on June 1st. But I want you to save the date of June 5th, because we're going to have an all-day viewing party for that contest. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So save that date. Okay. Oh, one more shameless plug. Okay. Listen, guys, I have entered a film into a contest. I practice what I preach, right? And so I entered a film into a contest, and I will give you the link once we get to the end. One of my films was chosen for People's Choice Award. So I would love, love, love. I'll show you the film if we're able to, but I would love for you to vote for me if you can, and I'll put the link in the little bit later on. All right, now we're going to get down to the workshop. Okay, so let's talk about AI images, right? So when we first started doing AI images and Midjourney and everything else, I think Midjourney had actually been around for a while. I started about 2 years ago, and I fell in love with creating images. I did not start off creating photorealistic images. I started off creating images that more so could be, considered to be art, when it comes to abstract and some other types of images as well. And then I don't know how it happened. I think I was following someone on social media, and they had a challenge, and I jumped in on one of the challenges, which involved creating photorealistic images, and I fell in love. I have not gone back since. And since then, like I said earlier, I have enjoyed a lot of success with this, from creating the official video for Lalah Hathaway, to just creating video that sometimes was therapeutic for me, and I didn't even realize it, but it was therapeutic for other people as well. And so I just want, and I know a lot of you all are already creating images and probably have that same feeling when you create the images. Maybe it's just therapeutic for you and you just keep your images to yourself. But I want to talk about, I get the question, how do you make your images? Why are they so realistic? How are you making these so realistic? Even when we were in Midjourney 5.0, your stuff still was looking really, really, really realistic. And I've been trying to do it and I can't figure out, how to do it. So I'm going to give you a little bit of my formula for creating images. And then after that, we'll talk about monetizing those images. Okay. These are just three of my favorite images. I did pay, and I will just say this, where you get your inspiration for your images, it can come from within, or it can come from something else that you try to mimic or you try to imitate without putting that person's name or without putting a reference in your prompts. And that's what I like to do a lot. I love to try when I get, dry and I'm like, I don't even know what I want to do. I'll go look at an 80s video or a 90s video or whatever. And I will say, what can I recreate? So that first image you see, Grace Jones, Lover, I recreated one of her music videos, Slave to the Rhythm, actually. And that video, I had so much fun. Those of you who are on Midjourney, I had the weird setting on, had it turned up all the way, and I had wonderful results. Okay. The middle image is from the Lalah Hathaway video, which I was really happy with. It's one of my favorite images. And then this other, the image on the side here is from a little short mini series that I put together. And I wanted to try just having, black and white throughout this one video, and it worked out really well. Okay, so how do you make AI images? Now, those of you that are here, you probably use any of these particular platforms to create your images. And listen, what works for you, I want you to use it. Okay, I want you to use it. And so, in saying that, I wanted to give you some information that would be universal for all of these platforms. Now, my preference for photorealistic images is Midjourney. Anyone that follows me knows I strictly create my images on Midjourney. There are some times when I'll use the video platforms like Luma, or Runway, not so much Runway, but Luma, to create text to video, where I'm getting an image on that particular platform, is creating the image there, and then going into video. I won't do it too often, but I do it a little bit. But for the most part, all of my images are created with Midjourney. But again, if these work for you, have at it, use it, and you should be able to use this concept. So the secret to a great image, everyone here should probably know, is prompting. That's all it is. The secret sauce is your prompt. And the second element is your ability to explain what it is that you see in that wonderful ball of brain that you have, that wonderful ball of just everything just floating around and, trying to get out. It's the ability to, to articulate that in prompt form. Will you get what you want every time? No, you will not. But you'll get close. And the more you try, the more you practice, the more you maneuver things around, it will come to you. So, with that said, I always do this. I ask myself, is this going to be, and I'm talking about the image that I'm trying to create. Is it a photo? Or is it like a movie still? Is it a motion image? I always ask myself these questions. So there's sometimes I live alone, but if someone lived here with me, they probably be like, what is she doing? And I just kind of sit here with my head down and I'm just imagining what is it that I actually see. And I'm asking myself all of these questions. What angle am I looking at this person from? What perspective is this? What time of day is it when all of this is happening? What's the lighting like? Where are they? Are they in a cafe? Are they in, a gym? Are they in a living room? Where are they? What's the lighting like? What time period is this? Is this the 80s? Is this, you know, um, early 1900s? When did all of this happen? And then how do we know what time period it is, and so on and so on and so on, right? So I'm asking myself all of these questions, and then I'm kind of asking myself, well, if this is a person that I'm trying to show, what are they thinking? What's on their mind? Are they stressed? Are they happy? Are they sad? Whatever it may be. And then treat your AI like it's a camera, okay? You want to treat your AI like it's a camera. And you're asking yourself, well, who's holding the camera? Where are they standing? What point of view are they trying to show? Now, I'm not a photographer. I do not have photography background. I do not have film background. So just want to put that out there before anyone feels intimidated and says, well, I don't know anything, I don't know anything about perspective. I just know what I see, right? Well, I'm not any of those. I'm a marketer, but I watch movies and I know which movies moved me the most. I read books. I know what book was descriptive enough that I was able to see what that author was trying to say in was the image that they were painting in that book. I have favorite scenes, of movies and music videos and all of that great stuff, and so that's the perspective that I take from it. Who's holding that camera? Why was the photo taken? Was it a candid type photo? Was this a photo? We tend to see a lot of photorealistic images where the person in the image is posing. They know the camera is there. And I think the key to really creating great photorealistic images is to do them candid, to capture moments in time. And so that's what I would encourage you to do to get great image. Capture a moment in time. What emotion is, behind the lens? Is it joy, nostalgia, fear, urgency? And what kind of camera are you using? What type of lens? Well, listen, before I started working in Midjourney, I could tell you about Kodak cameras. I can tell you about my one pandemic purchase where, everybody purchased something that they really didn't need, but they thought they were going to, have this really big epiphany and, be a professional. And I purchased this $600 Canon camera that I just know how to click and, whatever. So I really didn't know much about cameras until I started with Midjourney. And I started thinking about, okay, why is it that the film for Star Wars is different from the film that maybe a sitcom, you know, is filmed on? And what feeling did that particular film, 35 millimeter versus whatever, how did that change how I saw what I saw, right? And so that's what you want to put into your images, and it will work with pretty much all of the AI that create images. Okay. So that's something that I want you to think about as you are creating your images. So let me give you this example, right? So I put into Midjourney that I wanted an African American woman sitting in a cafe. All right. And these were the 4 images that Midjourney gave me. Midjourney, we all know Midjourney will spit out, 4 images, and then you go from there, right? Okay. So these were the 4 images that it gave me. If you notice, I got 3 younger women and an older woman. Okay. I got one black and white image versus 3 color images. And it kind of all of them kind of look like, they were posing, except for maybe the one in black and white. She's maybe it's a candid photo, but the rest, they're looking straight on into the camera. They know I'm here. I took the picture, they posed for me. That was that, right? Well, I didn't give the AI much perspective. I just said an African American woman sitting in a cafe. I didn't say how old she was. I didn't say, I didn't give any details at all. All right. And so let's look at the next one. So here's the next image. Same concept, but I just added more to it. Right. And those of you who are followers of me, you may have seen the video that I posted today where I used 3 of these images in that video. Now, here's the prompt where now I made the camera, I'm standing behind the camera, and I gave it a lot more perspective. So now I said, this is a 1960s Vogue magazine action shot. And I want, and see, this is Midjourney. And I have to remind Midjourney, listen, this is the 60s, okay? Keep it in the 60s. So that's why you see that frequently throughout the prompt. So I said 1960s African American woman sitting in a French cafe, drinking coffee, natural morning light. She's wearing a 1960s green designer coat. She's happy. Now, maybe just one of them looks happy, but still, I think what the word that kind of gave the perspective for the other one was the word gazing. Gazing out the window. The year is 1965, taken with a vintage Canon AE1 camera shot on vintage Kodak film. So now, not only did you get the woman in the cafe drinking the coffee, but the image even looks like it was taken in 1965. Okay. And that put a different touch on it because I don't necessarily think that now you tell me, I don't feel like I'm looking at a movie. I feel like I've stepped back in time now, right? And so that's what you want to create when you're making great images, whether it's you're stepping forward in time, you're right here present, or you're stepping back in time. Now, there's nothing wrong with having that image look like, it's an actress in a movie that, was just produced yesterday. And, it's nothing wrong with that. Personally, I like transforming and going into moments of time. And so when you look at my images on my various pages, various social media outlets, you'll see that all of my images are very time sensitive. That's just my niche. That's what I like to do. But I also have found that it's the one thing that gets people thinking and talking because now they're like, man, you really took me back with that. So that's my little trick for creating images that invoke feeling and everything else. Are there any questions that you guys have about any of that? If not, I'll just keep going. Any questions? No? Okay, I'll keep going. All right. What is the difference? The difference is that I'm adding elements like lighting. I'm adding elements like camera type, what type of film, these images are being seen on, the camera angles, fashion terminology. Fashion terminology will take you, will help you when it comes to time period pieces. And that's very important for a reason that I'm going to get into when it comes to monetizing. Okay. Mood, it helps with the mood. Hairstyles also help with telling the story. Makeup, if it's a, a fashion type of, photorealistic image, your makeup and, and all of those different things. If you've ever, let's say, you're walking down the street and you see something happen that was really exciting, and then you run home and you're telling your best friend or your husband or your wife or whomever, your partner, and you're telling them, let me tell you what just happened. And you're going like, you're doing all the details, and they're like, come on, tell me, come on, finish. And you want to get all the details in. That's how you want to describe your images in your prompts. Now, some AI platforms are more conversational than others, whereas some are more, like your Midjourneys that are a little bit more well, actually, Midjourney 7. Anybody, okay, those of you who are in Midjourney, who work in Midjourney, how are you liking Midjourney 7? Drop it in the chat. If you tell me, how are you guys liking Midjourney 7? Okay. Okay. So, Diana, you said you cheat. You'll take a screenshot of what you want to create and use the ideogram and ChatGPT for prompt, copy, paste, and go from there. Well, listen, there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes I will go into Midjourney because again, I'm a Midjourney user. I will go into Midjourney and I will go into the area where you see all the different images. I can't remember what it's called right now. And if I see an image there, like if I can't get Midjourney to understand what I want, I'll go there, see if there's an image there that someone else has created. I will either look at their prompt or grab their image and do an image reference for that particular image and then prompt it out. So I'll do that too from time to time. Okay. So you don't know yet. You jump back to 6.1. So listen, Esther, I had to force myself to work in 7. And I haven't gone back to 6.1 yet. I go back to 6.1 to do character references. Okay. Danny, you had a question.
Yeah, I work with sustainable brands, but not, I don't want to say, tree hugger-ish. I'm looking for the women that are kind of like the engineers. They take them apart and they put them back together.
Okay.
What mood do you suggest putting them in? Because these women are like, as I'm saying, they're engineers of putting new life into clothing. So
Okay.
how do you suggest that? Because a lot of the other ones are like boho chic and stuff like that. But I want, like the Carrie Bradshaw's where she puts, different things together.
So, okay, let me make sure I'm hearing the question correctly. So there's a particular style that you want emulated in your images. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm just wondering would be, what mood would you suggest it should be in to bring that artistry in? Because I'm an artist, and at the same time, I want it to be seen that they are the engineers of clothing.
So so
Sustainable.
maybe not the mood, but just the actual style. So
Hmm.
there, you know what I mean? You
Hmm.
can, and if there's no, let's say it's a style that there's not a particular like boho or 70s disco or whatever.
Right.
We know what that is, right? But if
I'm very
this
Carrie
style,
Bradshaw.
what's that?
I'm very Carrie Bradshaw's closet.
Okay. So you have to figure out a way to describe those particular pieces, okay, as opposed to a mood. I would say
Mhm.
try to figure out a way to describe those pieces or take an actual image that you have and put that in as a reference.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and they don't let you use Sex in the City.
I
I
understand,
say, yeah.
but I would say take, you work in Chat GPT?
Yeah, yeah, I
Okay,
have like a bunch of them.
so I would say you can always upload an image. You can upload a series of images into
Mhm.
ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to describe those images that you see, that it sees,
Mhm.
and to
Yeah.
create a prompt for you to recreate that style. Okay?
And I also, yeah, thank you. And if I also work with fairy core, and if I could bring that element into it and bring, the aesthetic of, you know, um kind of fantasy, because she liked that kind of stuff too. She's weird. Um, and it's minus realism and not adult, sorry, grown up fairy core fairies.
I understand. Yeah.
So
Same thing. That's for everyone here. If there's a style that you're having problems recreating, what you can always do if you're whatever platform you're in, you can always go into ChatGPT, upload those images, and ask ChatGPT to describe that stuff for you. If you're in Midjourney, you can put it in Midjourney and ask Midjourney to develop a prompt to give you the prompt for that particular image. So that would be my best advice. Okay. Uh,
version 7 made it cartoonish. It destroyed my
ver-
aesthetic, version 7.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Version 7 destroyed my aesthetic. It's like cartoonish now.
You have to go back in and you have to start to you have to keep rating images to get it where you
Yeah.
want it to go. It wasn't doing mine either, but I kept at it and I forced it. So
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, I'm in the
Uh,
top 2000 and I'm like, oh my God. So thank you.
I know. It's a struggle. No problem. Diana,
Thank you.
Diana, no problem. Diana.
Hi. Yes. Um, so what I do, I do exactly what I typed, what I tried to type. By the way, my nails are awesome. So what I did was not only do I use ChatGPT or Ideogram or anything else, I also like for example, I ran into this problem with James Bond. Okay, it wouldn't let me do Daniel Craig, but it did end up letting me do Sean Connery. And it kind of recreated its own little Sean Connery. And I went with that because I was trying
Well,
to do 007. And,
okay.
but I kind of, my screenshot trick can work for me to a point, but I also reference, because in Midjourney, I remember through a Secret AI Society, there's an actual website that gives you like artists and styles. I forget what it's called, but like we found this on accident, and I use it a lot because they're artists like in the style of Gustav Klimt, in the style of, um, you could do photographers, Anne Leibovitz, what is it,
Yeah.
Anson Adams or whatever, and I did that too. So sometimes I'll actually find the name of photographers, and I find that to be for me very, very helpful for
Yes.
realism and stuff like that. Sometimes makeup artists, um,
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
I re
you
I do that a lot.
yeah, you can do that. I tend to not do that a lot, but it is definitely a resource that you can do. I will tell you this, that for instance, when someone wants me to do a time period piece and I want to relay a certain mood or what have you, there's been one time that I did a image and I said photography in the style of Gordon Parks, who was an African American photographer, very famous for his black and white photography during a certain era. And so, yes, you can get things that way. You can use style references. You can do SREF codes to help you out with your photorealistic images and getting a certain style to those particular images. All of those things absolutely work. Okay. All right. I'm going to keep it moving. Okay, let's talk about monetizing, y'all. let's talk about monetizing. Okay, so here are just a few ways that you can monetize with photorealistic images. All right. Social media content, stock photography, advertising, webinars and classes, art installations, art prints, architectural designs, music videos, product design prototypes, book illustrations. It goes on and on and on and on. You name it, you can create it, you can monetize it with photorealistic images. But I don't have time to talk about all of those things here today, right? So what I'm going to do, I picked 3 and a bonus. Okay. The bonus is my favorite. But I'm going to tell you about 3 different ways. And I didn't want to make this complicated, guys. I did not want, because everybody doesn't know how to code and everyone doesn't know how to do a lot of different things, but there are things that we all can do. And so I wanted to grab the most obvious and the easiest ways to monetize photorealistic images to give you some suggestions. So number 1, we all know films, animations, music videos. Second one, I'm going to talk about a little bit, art prints and posters, branding, marketing, and advertising campaigns. And then the bonus is my favorite and the most intriguing one for me, and that is creating your own influencer. Okay. All right. So which ones are you all most excited about? 1, 2, 3, or the bonus? Put it in the chat for me so I'll know. So I'll know which ones to hurry up and speed through. Okay. The bonus. Yes. 2, 3 in the bonus. The bonus, 1 in the bonus. All of them. Okay. Awesome. 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 Okay. Cool. Okay. So let's talk about films and animation. All right. Limitless creativity, and I know all of you all heard about the academy that made the announcement that AI would not give anyone an unfair advantage, nor would it penalize any movies to receive an Oscar. Okay. And so what does that mean? That just means that they're okay with you using AI in your films and video. And that is huge. That is huge. And that is a prediction that I had a long time ago. So let's talk about being commissioned. Being commissioned to put your videos and your images out there for someone else. And there's so many different ways that you can be commissioned for your images and your videos. Narratives and short films, even if you're just doing them for yourself, or maybe there's a director who doesn't have a large budget, but is open to AI. Your narratives and short films, nonprofit organizations. I was commissioned by a nonprofit organization to create an AI film that they were using to get a grant. Okay. And that film just talked about their goals and what they were doing. Documentaries. Guys, I've had people reach out to me because they need B-roll for their documentaries. Maybe the documentary was about something that happened in the early 1800s. Well, there's no film for that. There's no video for that. And so, those documentaries needed those film, and maybe they didn't have a budget to hire actors to act out the scenes or the things that happened or the significant points in that documentary. Here comes AI, right? Here comes AI and the ability to recreate anything with AI, all right? Museum displays. Have you thought about museum displays? I had a museum that reached out to me because, and this is a good way to get commissions as well. Think of social media as your portfolio, all right? And show your different perspectives of what you can create with on your social media pages. A museum saw something that I did that was a historical piece and reached out to me and said, hey, can we use this? We've got something going on, and this is the topic that is right here, what we need. Can we use your video? And I said, absolutely. And that led to them saying, hey, we're remodeling. can you help us with when we put the museum back together, we want to have, some displays that are video, that are, that deal with this particular topic and that are photorealistic. Okay. All right. Real quick, guys. I love images. And so when you all post those images, it's distracting me. And I'm looking at the image like, oh, that's cute. So if you all could hold on those images for now, that would be great. Because I'm looking at the images and I want to comment on the images. Okay.
Sorry,
Thank you.
Kimberly, we're getting carried away.
No, it's okay because I want to join in and I can't. But websites and graphics and informationals, product videos, guys. Product videos are huge for entrepreneurs, small businesses who can't afford a huge budget. Music videos, that is a big one because most of the images that you see out here, they are with, to some type of music. And those artists are seeing those videos and they're like, wow, let me get in on this. And that's how it happened with me and Lalah Hathaway. She saw a video that I did where I put to some of her music and loved it. And so here we are. Tag the businesses and tag the artists when you create these videos so that they can see what the possibilities are. And if you think about who your ideal client is and who you want to work with, go ahead and create a video that is in that business's genre, or that would, or create a product video for that particular product and then tag that business. You never know what doors that will open. So that's just a suggestion. So here's a sample workflow. You can use Midjourney. Now, the reason why I'm saying Midjourney for these types of commissions, because usually those are more so going to be on that professional level and maybe even be seen on a big screen, or there needs to be more detail, more intricate things going on. So I would say use Midjourney, but if there's something that you have that you like better, absolutely go ahead and use it. You can use 11 Labs for your voiceovers. Now, there are platforms out there that have 11 Labs already built into them. And so if that's what you got, fine. Use ChatGPT to create your scripts and your storyboards for the things that you are commissioned on. And then you can there's so many video platforms out here now until you have your pick. Runway, Luma, Kling, Halu, Pika Labs, Sora, any of those you can use for your video. You can even create the music, right? We all know about Suno and Udio, or just get royalty-free music. So you have a production staff at your dispense just with AI, right? And so that's what I mean by AI is leveling the playing field. You can have a full production just sitting at your computer and get it done. And that's what I was doing. Okay. All right. Income. This is just an average. This is not set in stone, but charge for your videos, people. Okay. Charge for your videos. After talking to a few creators that are out there, and I'm not talking about people who are professional video, they've already are, they're in the video, film and video industry. I'm talking about people who are just like me, using AI and decided they wanted to do some of this stuff and they've gotten very good at it. I've seen people charge as much as $2,000 for a 3-minute video, with voiceovers, narrations, everything. You get 2 clients. That's pretty good for 2 clients, 5 to 7,000, 7,500, maybe even as much as 10,000, depending on how long the video is, what all you have to do, whether or not you have to have all the multiple voiceovers, or whatever. Okay. Closed captions, anything that you do, you want to make sure that you are charging for it. Any questions about film and video? Okay. What are my favorite apps for video? My favorite apps for video, I'm a partner with Luma and a partner I'm a creative partner with Luma, Runway, and there's one more. Ooh, I'm bad. I'm sorry. But Luma's my favorite. And I like Kling. I really do like Kling, and I like Runway, but I like them all for different reasons. So there may be one project that I'm working on, and I may take different scenes into different creators rather, because I know one is better at one thing than it is at another. Okay. Does that answer your question, Diana?
It does. I had a question about, I mean, okay, so I run into the challenge of money. I'm going to be honest, okay? Because all of this costs, I end up doing eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I did my autism video and, paying for Midjourney, paying for this, paying for that. I run into the issue of money and
Okay.
how much money it actually costs to try to get decent at video. So I think my video was what, a minute and 20 seconds, I think. And that was literally maxing out.
I got you. I
Um,
got the answer for you. I got the answer
you
for
know,
you.
oh,
Okay.
thank
So,
you.
because your question is a very common question that I get within my own community. And that is, Kim, you use all of these different video platforms. How are you doing it and not spending a lot of money breaking the bank? Well, first of all, I've applied to every video creator partner program. Okay, I applied to all of them. If anything comes up, whether I use it or not, I've ever used it or not. Oh, and I'm a creative partner with Imagine. I always apply because I know that I'm going to need something, I'm going to need them. So that's the first thing. If you don't get into the creative partner programs, you want to subscribe to platforms like Krea and Imagine. In those particular platforms, they have multiple video platforms within that one platform. So you're not paying multiple subscriptions. You're only paying one subscription to have access to all of the others. Okay. So that would be my suggestion, either Krea or Imagine, and look at those that way. Now, that would be my best solution, okay, to that. The other thing that I would say you want to do to save a little money, I know it doesn't help all the time, but to save a little money, make sure you're storyboarding everything out. And I know, I get it. You have a storyboard out and you're telling the video platform that you want the person to run across the street and they don't run. And you've been clicking, 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 they're not running, running, running. I get it. Okay. I get that. AI isn't perfect, but my only solution at this point is that sign up for one of those platforms where they have multiple video platforms accessible to you. Okay. That's my best answer for that. I don't have anything better for that. Okay. Unfortunately.
Thank, no,
No
thank
And
you.
I
I appreciate that.
no
Like I
problem.
said, I have a whole movie and screen share and a whole idea. I'm literally saving up. I'm waiting for June to
I got
Diana,
you. I
re-up
got
my
you.
Really quick,
I
credits
got
and
I could
get it
use
all
these.
ready.
Hold on. Hold on real quick. Let me get to this in the chat. So you were asking about my social media handles. My name right there. Anyone who has to jump off this call early, you can follow me with my name, Kimberly Offord, on all social media platforms. Okay. Um, how am I making sure that I'm legally covered when it comes to licenses, copyright ownership, and transferring exclusive rights to my clients? So first of all, I'm on all the professional levels when it comes to all of the video and image platforms. So that means that I can use what I need to use commercially. That's number one. Number two, I do not use any likenesses that I have not been given prior permission to use in a commercial type setting. When I do it, when I'm commissioned, my part of my contract, because I do have a contract that I have with my clients, part of my contract says that when I create the video or that image for them, all the images that I used in that particular video, I give them those images and I never use those images again. So it's up to them how they want to use whatever it is. That's the other thing. And then we all know when it comes to copywriting, and I'm gonna answer that question real quick, but I got a lot more presentation to get through, y'all. So when it comes to copywriting, we know how the U.S. Copyright Office looks at AI images and video. They cannot be copyrighted unless they are your images and you have changed them up a certain percentage of the way, and they are no longer the original image that came out of the AI. So that's another way that you can do that. Let me get through one more question and I'll come to you, Danny. How where are you marketing my work to people who need it and are finding you? I have a website and I use social media as my marketing. Okay. My social media platform, that is my portfolio. You can go to my website and you can see my portfolio, but I make sure that I put myself out there a lot. I am not a secret squirrel when it comes to everything that I do. I try to put everything out there. You wouldn't believe it, but I'm an introvert. But I realize in order to get business, somebody has to see me, have to see my work. If you guys don't mind, this is going to go over probably about 10 minutes. If you're okay with that, then we're good. Okay. All right. Danny, yes, you had a question.
Yes. Sorry, I have problems with my hands. Um, I wanted to tell you that Pixar and Leonardo now have put themselves as apps on your phones on both Android and iOS, and they have multi-platform as well. And I think now their creator program, they're doing small grants. And
Okay.
if you go in their Discord groups, which I just joined, they have a lot. Also Midjourney. I am so sorry. And also NVIDIA. If you sign up
Okay.
for NVIDIA, they will help you with that. But you said something oh yeah, on Facebook and stuff, they said something about you have to go to their product, something where you have to ask to put your stuff on your pictures up in order to get your copyright on there. Is that a fact?
I don't know anything about that. I put up images and video all the time on Facebook, and I put my logo on my images, and I that's how I go do what I do.
Okay, I was just
Yeah.
making sure because I just keep getting in trouble everywhere. I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing
I
this.
don't,
So
yeah, I don't know why you would be getting in trouble because, like I said, I do it all the time. I'm to the point now where I only usually will post videos and images on my Facebook page. I have not been flagged. The only time you get flagged is when you put your images up to music that you haven't gotten from their platform. So they'll
and
flag you.
do
They'll
you,
mute your work for that. So,
do you find any trouble with people copying your stuff?
oh, absolutely. But that's why I put my logo on everything.
Okay, thank you so much. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just my hands don't
No,
work
no, it's
anymore now.
okay. No, it's
Thank you.
okay. Yes, I've had issues with people grabbing my work. They can't copy it. People can't figure out how I do what I do. And but it's okay because do what you do. But
Right.
I've had people taking my videos and putting them on their page. And and it's so funny because other people see them and they know it's my work and they'll tag me and they'll say, "Hey Kim, isn't it yours?" So it's okay. It's
I
okay.
got in trouble
We
for
all,
copywriting. I got in trouble.
yeah,
Somebody said it was theirs, and they said it was me copywriting from them, and I'm like, my name is on it, and I got in
well,
trouble.
yeah, that's never happened to me. So I don't know. I don't know. I can't speak to that and I can't speak to what it was. So yeah. But
I
let
know, it's
me
just the
let me
evil
jump back into
forces.
it.
Sorry,
Yeah,
thank you.
no problem, no problem, no problem. Okay, listen, art, guys, art. If you want to start monetizing your art, let me just give you this tip, okay? If you are creating limited edition pieces, well, let me say this. You want to create limited edition pieces. Okay. And what do I mean by that? Is there anybody here that is an actual a fine art collector? Okay. So those of you who are fine art collectors, you know that there's a difference between the original, a G clay, a print, and mass-produced prints. Okay. If you don't know, don't worry. I'm getting ready to break it down for you. Okay. I collect art. I will only buy the originals. That's just me being an art snob. Okay. Don't hate. Don't beat me up for it. Okay. But if you can't afford an original, the next best thing is a limited edition. So what is a limited edition? A limited edition, it means that that person created a certain amount of that particular print, okay? And then they didn't create any more. If you want, now it depends on what your business plan is. If you are fine with having to sell 5,000 posters of your piece for $5 or for $10 or $20, have at it, right? But wouldn't life be better if you could sell 50 for $200 or however much? Okay. And so there are people, there are creators out there who have realized I have to treat this like fine art. They have a following and they'll create an image. And instead of mass producing that image, they will only create a limited run of about 50. Okay. And they're not using drop shipping companies. They're actually going to printers who can give them museum quality paper or what's called G clay paper. And they're actually signing them with a pen and numbering them and then selling them that way. Okay. If you want to make the maximum amount of money on a print that you have created with AI, that is the way to do it. That's the bottom line. Okay. That's the bottom line to this slide. Use a professional printer in your area. And you may even have a printer, because I found one here in Chicago, a printer who would, if I took orders of my image, and let's say once I got up to 50, so maybe I would get up to 50 orders, and then I could give the orders to them. They would print out all 50, give me a time and date to come in and sign and number them, and then they would mail them out themselves. Okay. That would save me on, like having to drop ship or having to, postage or whatever. And it would be up to me whether or not I wanted to charge for the shipping, but this was the service that they would provide. And worked out perfect. I didn't end up doing that because I ended up moving into that film area and the video area. But if you want to make the most amount of money with prints, selling your images, this is the best way to do it. You can always do it the other way as well. Okay. You want to make sure that you have an e-commerce platform that you are selling on, and you want to make sure that you have your like a website that you're selling on, someplace that you can control your orders coming in. You want to get a professional printer, okay, one that does professional art and museum quality printing. And then you want to be able to market your prints, and you want to make sure that you have like exclusive limited editions. Stay under 50. Stay under 50 if you want to really, excite the consumer and like, hey, you need to get yours now before they're all gone, or maybe even under 100. I have on my website, I didn't want to do prints, so I did a t-shirt. I had a limited edition t-shirt where after so many t-shirts were sold with that particular image on it, no more would be sold. Okay. So that's just something that you can do when it comes to images. You can do prints. The income is unlimited on this, guys. Listen, there's a gentleman who is doing this. I know of two creators that I follow. They only release editions at a certain time of the year, maybe twice or three times a year. They close it after about 30 days. You can't get it after that. And this one guy his stuff, I have seen his images sell for, he had one that was like $3,000. Just one, y'all, just one. Okay. And he sold out, according to his website. He sold out. Okay. All right. And he only had 25. So think about that. 3,000 times 25. And then he had like about 5 images in that series. And each image was anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000. Okay. All right. Number 3, branding, marketing, and advertising campaigns. You can create branding, and excuse the little gibberish right there that I forgot to remove, but you can have branding and advertising you can create them for businesses. You can create them for service providers, small businesses, content creators, nonprofits, educators, coaches, charged by the campaign, okay? Or the number of pieces that they want for their particular campaign. You can use Midjourney, you can use ChatGPT, you can use whoever you want to create those images. And then you can use Canva to do your graphics, or whomever else to do your graphics. But this is something that I realized last year was huge. A lot of small businesses, they just could not afford to have major marketing and advertising campaigns, came to me and said, hey, I see what you're doing with AI. Can you do some stuff? Can you create for us? And so I'll give you one in particular. I had a mathnasium here in Chicago. And if everything you see on the left here, the before, the problem was that the graphics were not they didn't represent the community that the mathnasium serviced. And they wanted more graphics and images that were representative of the diverse community that they served. And these were just some of the images that they had, but everything was real bland. And it looked like all the other franchises. Okay. And so we took and when I say we, myself and my business partner at the time, we took those images and everything, the brand of Mathnasium, and we created the after. And we did all of this with AI, all the images, Midjourney, ChatGPT, we did everything with AI and came up with brand new images for this company. And so you see here the power of AI. What is your value that you're bringing to the table if you decide to go this route? Here's your value proposition. Everybody know what a value proposition is? A value proposition is what value you're bringing to the table for your clients, okay? AI, cost effective, it's time saving, is versatile, okay? It's flexible, and when it comes to creativity, and it's scalable, all right? And you can do a lot for those particular clients when it comes to marketing. And so this was just one marketing campaign that we did, for that particular client. Would not have ever been able to do it in this manner if it weren't for AI. And these characters, now this franchise owner, she's the only one out of all the franchises that have this marketing, that have these characters. Now she's distinguishable. Now all the other franchises in the area, like, where'd you get that? That didn't come from the parent company. What are you doing? And the beauty of it all is nobody can recreate it, right? Not unless they take hers and they make copies of it. They can do things like it, very similar to it, but they won't have the same thing, because AI is what? It is infinite in all that it does. All right. Okay. Again, the income on this area, it's limitless. It all depends on the type of relationship that you build with that particular company. Maybe it's a one-off where you're doing just one marketing campaign that it's their anniversary. Maybe it's the anniversary of their business and you're just doing that particular campaign. Or maybe you're creating for it all year, for a year-long campaign. So it just really all depends on how you charge them when you do this. Okay. The influencer. Listen, y'all, this is the good one right here. Okay. I see you, Lanice. I see you. This is the good one, because let me tell you something, you guys. There's some influencers out there, some social media influencers, and you don't even realize that they are not real people. Okay. Shocker. Dun dun dun, right? Here, play the music, play the music. I saw a question a little bit earlier before I jump into that real quick, because I'm gonna go through this real quickly. Somebody asked, what was a creative partner? A creative partner is when you are what's called a creative partner for a particular AI platform, and you have early access to whatever it is, but whether it be an improvement. You get to use, there are a lot of privileges with being in the creative partner program. Either sometimes you get to use their platform for free and to give feedback on their particular product, or to test out new things. So that's what a creative partner is. All right. Okay. So, okay. Here's one person here's one, no, not person. Here's an AI in particular. You all have probably seen this AI. Okay. This is Lil McWella. Okay. Lil McWella is AI generated. She has 2.5 million followers. All right. Not only does she have 2.5 million followers, but she's got a BMW commercial. And I mean a real BMW commercial, y'all. She's driving the BMW. Okay. And she has several sponsorships. Whoever makes Little McWella never has to show their face, never has to say a word, never has to do a thing. They just sit behind the computer and they do these really wonderful prompts. And Lil McWella has a life. Guess what? Lil McWella has a boyfriend now. And Lil McWella's boyfriend has a page too. And now he's an influencer. Listen, do not do not skip on your skills and what you can create when it comes to AI and making money. This influencer is making her creator a ton of money. Now, what I think is happening now that she's gotten really popular, I'm noticing some scenes that look really realistic. And what I think they're doing are face swaps in scenes where they've got like a body double who is, being Lil McWella, and then they're doing face swaps onto her. And you can do face swaps with a software called Akool, Akool. That's how I did the Lalah Hathaway video. Okay. How are you going to build your influencer? How are you going to build your influencer? You're going to use ChatGPT to build your foundation. All right. Real quick. I'm going to go through this real quickly. You're going to identify a target market and a niche. All right. Don't just start out and say, hey, I got this really cute, AI character that I have, or this AI person, and I'm going to make them an influencer. Don't do it that way. Figure out who the target market is and what the niche is. Okay. In this particular instance, they figured out who Lil McWella appeals to. All right. Then you want to design a unique character. You want to develop them visually. You want to make them visually compelling, and it's something that resonates with that particular audience. Okay. Consider all the details with that particular influencer, like their appearance, their style, their branding. So let's say you're creating an influencer who is a singer. Okay. And you could absolutely do that. But who does she appeal to? Does she appeal to the younger crowd? Does she appeal to, an older crowd? What does she look like? So if this is someone that's going to be a kid, someone appealing to kids, of course, she's not going to be an older girl or older woman. You're going to make someone that they can relate to, right? And you're going to maybe look at what other characters are out there right now that particular niche gravitates to. And that's the type of character that you are going to make. All right. Then you're going to create a backstory. You got to have a because she's got to be believable. Him, her, whatever it is, even if it's an animal, whatever it is, they have to have a backstory, because I have to care about whether or not I want to follow your AI character on social media. If you think about all the influencers that are out there, you follow them because they have a backstory, right? And so you want to make sure that that character has a backstory, that it makes sense, and that it's relatable to that particular target market. This looks like a lot, y'all, but this is real easy to do when you think about it. Think about, who is probably one of the most iconic influencers who never ever ages a bit. If you think about creating something like this, think about it. Who is it? Who's one of the oldest, most influential persons or things or whatever out there, right? Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse has not aged a bit. Minnie, Goofy, none of them. They haven't aged a bit, right? So create this influencer, right? Who transcends time. I know I know some people are probably like, oh, wait a minute now. Stick with me here. Okay. Create a content strategy. All right. A content creation strategy. Plan the type of content that the AI influencer will create. So, in other words, like with Lil McWella, she goes and she does things like, she goes to the hair salon and she's trying on her clothes and she's going and she's gonna, she's like a clothing and a fashion influencer. So she's doing things that match that lifestyle. So that's what your content creation strategy is going to be for that influencer. It doesn't even have to be something. I'm going to give you one right here. And I'm going to see who's going to jump on it. But you can have a woman who's over 50, going through menopause, and she's trying to navigate life. I'd follow her if she knows what she's talking about. You know what I'm saying? If you create an influencer who can speak to a particular crowd, take her on a date. She's now dating. She's traveling. She's doing whatever. It'll work. Okay. Then you got to engage and interact with the audience as the influencer. Okay. And then you want to monitor the trends and continuously let your influencer evolve over time. How does that sound to you guys? How does that sound? How does that sound? Does it sound okay? Can you do it? Okay. Listen, here's the chat GPT prompt. Here's the prompt for it. Take a picture of it or screenshot it and then put it in the chat GPT. This is the prompt that you can use to create your influencer. And you're going to just fill in where you see brackets, you're going to fill in the blanks for your influencer. Even if you don't intend on doing it, just try it. Try it and see what you come up with. You never know. The next thing I may say, I may be looking around and you're like, Kim, I got an influencer, right? So try it out. Like I said before, some of these AI influencers out here, they have big major brand deals. Now, I know they have a lot of followers, they do, but you got to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere. Okay. So that's that, y'all. I went through that real quick. Final thoughts. Here are my final thoughts. I really hope that I gave you all, I couldn't talk about it all. I could not. I'm already over 15 minutes, right? I could not talk about it all, but I tried to talk about a lot of it. And I hope that this gave you some thoughts in terms of what you can do. Maybe not those things that I named, but maybe there was some concepts within that stuff that I told you that you can grab onto. I want to tell you one more time, say June 5th. That's my online viewing party. It's going to be an all-day event where I'm going to have we're going to show some up at the top of every hour. We're going to be streaming. We're going to show videos that were entered into the contest. Oh my gosh, there were so many great videos that were entered, as well as celebrate the winners once we announce them on June 1st. So save the date. You'll be seeing things about this. To follow me, or you can get on my mailing list. You just scan that QR code. You will, and you just scroll down, or you can go to on my social media platforms, go to my bio, because this is the QR code for my bio. You can go to my bio, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and it'll direct you for getting on my mailing list. And at the top is that link to vote on my video. Okay. So grab that QR code if you can, and let's connect. Let's connect, guys. I am on TikTok. I am on Instagram. I am on Facebook. I am on LinkedIn, and I am under the same name under all of this. So you can get me at Kimberly Offord on everything. And my website, playgroundpastime.ai. That is my brand. And I think that was the last slide. I'm not sure. I think it is because it's not moving anywhere. So I am going to answer. I will stay and answer as many questions as you have. I don't have to run away. And Amanda, if you allow me to answer those questions, I would be absolutely, positively happy to do that.
It's wonderful, Kim. Oh my God, that's so amazing. I'm already making an AI influencer. That is something She's AI is going to do. You bet it. Oh my God. And I know Natasha, I'm not sure if she's here, would totally have fun with that as well. But that was like so helpful and valuable. Thank you. It was amazing. I have to run to daycare in like 3 minutes, but I can leave this Zoom call open and you can all just
Okay.
stay hanging out. I don't mind. But I've got a few
Okay.
minutes before I literally have to leave the house. So Diane's got a hand up. You guys chime in with any questions. I'm totally happy to leave the floor open and you guys can answer questions. But thank you so much. Kim, it was amazing.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. I'm kind of going through the chat to see if there were any questions that I left off that were not answered.
Oh, totally.
Diana, yes, Diana, yes, you can definitely message me on LinkedIn. Not a problem. And anyone here, you can message me on LinkedIn if you have any additional questions that weren't answered here. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Nagawa has got her hand up and yeah.
Yes. Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was just which e-commerce website do you recommend? Because I know like Redbubble's not very good. It kind of like went downhill. So and
You
like Etsy, I know like the price is cheaper. So I was just wondering what you thought.
Yeah, I mean, you can try Shopify for e-commerce. You don't necessarily have to use drop shipping, but you can always use the platform. And then there are some other platforms that are out there. I'm gonna be honest with you, for my e-commerce, I use so I have Kartra, which is tied to my CRM, my contact relationship management system. But before that, I had Shopify. And there are a couple of others out there if you just kind of, Google them or whatever. And I think it also depends on what you're trying to sell there as well. If you're trying to sell courses and everything else, you might want to use a different platform. But if you're selling merchandise, then that could be, like a Shopify would be fine.
Okay. And then by drop shipping, do you also mean like not print on demand either? Or is print on demand fine if they can
You,
get the materials you
you mean
mentioned?
as far as art prints are concerned?
Yeah. If
So
they can
there
get
are
the GTA, yeah.
So there are some print companies that will do ship on demand. There's some local, you may have some locally that will do that are professional that will do G-Clay or museum quality prints. It's not that many that will do it, but there are some. Um, Drop shipping companies are those companies that you can go through Shopify. They will not do that museum quality paper and all of that other stuff. They just do regular, paper. Now, to my knowledge, the ones that I've been,
Okay.
Print by and Printful and all those, they just do your regular posters.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Good.
Yes, Diana.
Hi, I'm so sorry. Anyway, I really like what you had to say about the printing because you're right. But then that means you have to do your images at like this amazing high resolution. So I ran into this problem when I submitted my work to She Is AI. I didn't realize, for example, that like one of my Midjourney images, his fingers were all warped and weird, and they wanted these large images. So I'm thinking, would it be okay with you to explain that part as well? Like your
Yes.
images would then have to be at some crazy resolution, and I'm learning that because if I want to start printing my stuff and selling my things, I can't run into that issue, right? So
Yes.
I know, like with Amanda, I had to like make sure I had to recreate actual new images because suddenly it was six fingers. I didn't realize that.
Yes. So you want to upscale your images. So that's what we mean by that. So even when you're being commissioned to do a work, you want to make sure that you have upscaled like your videos. The way that you do that, you can use Topaz. There's Topaz AI video, and then there's a Topaz for images, where after you have upscaled, now you can upscale your images in Midjourney. But if you're not working in Midjourney, you want to always put your images into a system like Topaz, yes, Topaz Gigapixel, and to upscale them. Now, when it comes to video, that's a whole new ball game, because not only do you have to have the license, but if you want your video to upscale quickly, you have to buy credits. And that's a new thing that they just did. And it can be costly. But you do want to make sure that you're upscaling. And for everyone who's saying thank you for coming and indulging. Any
Um,
other questions? Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to lastly say I'm definitely messaging you because I have a ton of ideas. So hopefully you can spare time and actually speak with me individually. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Absolutely. Yes, definitely message me. And listen, guys, if you jump on my mailing list, definitely I will that lets you know when I'm having other workshops, other webinars, and I'll be doing more workshops and webinars, definitely with She Is AI. So that will also be an option as well. But yes, any other questions? Going once? Okay, I see Esther, you came off of mute.
Yes, sorry. I haven't seen it quite well, the slide where you have mentioned point 5 and 6 for the influencer. Could you show the slide again?
For what's that again?
For the influencer, you had
Oh, you wanted those particular numbers? You know what, Amanda, can I give you that list and the prompt for the influencers,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
and we can maybe put it somewhere so that everybody can see that?
Yep. We'll share it in school. If anyone is not already in school, I'm sure we can facilitate you joining or getting it to you. But for most of our members that are in school, we'll have a thread where this replay will be there, all the links will be there, and the socials and the prompts and everything will be there. So if anyone's not already in there, we'd love you to join. You'll get all of that. I think that's what we usually do, Kimberly. But if anyone wants to follow up directly with us for those, happy to do that.
Yeah, and then Esther, if you're on LinkedIn or any of those other social media platforms, inbox me.
Yeah, DM on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah, DM me
yes,
or
I already did.
Yeah.
okay,
Thank
awesome.
you.
I'll get with you.
You'll have a
All
queue,
right.
Kimberly. But yeah, and you'll see more of Kimberly in our community going forward. But yeah, is that anything else from anyone? Yeah, that is so amazing. Maybe Kim could show us your movie that we couldn't play it in school because it's stunning, and your other
Yeah, I'll do it at school.
incredible content you're making, but like super, super, super amazing. I just want to say thank you so much for all coming and sticking with us, and yeah, so valuable, Kim. And you got me playing in Midjourney again and making an influencer now, which is like going to be my new secret hobby. But it's so amazing. I hope you all enjoyed it. It was incredible, and thank you
All
for
right. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
see you all.
Good night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for your
Bye.
patience with me.
That's cool.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye.